let's have some fun, guys. We are going to combine stamping,
masking,
and casting.
Yes.
For even more impact.
Yeah.
Let's flip this down and talk a little bit about why and what our purpose is.
Yes.
Boom chakalaka. So we are using two things here. We are using our Lady Shalott. We've got already cut up here, as well as our Birdsong Mould. So here's what we are going to do. We are going to create masks first. First, let's talk about the purpose. The purpose that we are going for here is to integrate our casting and our stamping in a way that enhances our composition. So it's not just for the sake of combining two products. It's so that we can cause them to work together in harmony in the way they're laid out, so that we can see, okay, it's going to be a tool for making our composition, and it is also going to be have impact for the combination of the two mediums. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to create some masks of our birdsong.
Woohoo!
And you may be thinking, well, how can you do that? Birdsong is a mold. I know, I'm corny, right? Do you want me to do this, Sal? Or do you want to do this part? It's important to have, when you are doing this, guys, it's important that you have a micro rim.
She won't get out of the way.
Okay.
All right, here we go. You guys, so you know that we have the micro rim, the patented micro rim.
I'm going to get
patent pending.
A little close. Oh, I guess
This allows us to use the molds as a mask. Let me show you how. So we're just using our IOD ink, and we're gently
keeping
catching
it super perpendicular, not
correct.
tilty, because your goal
You just
is to
want to get it on the rim. Now this is nice and juicy, so I'm just going real light.
Just pat, pat, pat.
Pat, pat, pat. Gently pat it. Okay, and those are the three
do
that.
The whole thing. Do the
all
whole
right,
thing.
fine.
Though.
I'll do the whole thing.
Pat, pat,
there
pat,
we go.
Right.
Okay, there we go. Now, go get away.
Whatever.
Okay, and then now that it's all inkied, we just flip this out.
Don't shift, just
Over.
like when you're using stamps.
Just lay it down and then gently run your hands over it.
Hi, Kathy. Hi, Kelly.
Okay.
Right? Don't shift it.
Okay. And then lift it up, and there we have, voila!
Voila.
Okay.
So now,
Then you would cut it out. Cut it just like that. Wow, look at how quickly she cut them out. And there they are.
there they are.
We wanted to spare you guys watching us cut them out, so we already did that off camera
did
because
it.
we're pretty sure
Then
you know how to do that.
Wash this off with your wet wipes. Okay. So the purpose of these is, and we're doing these ink side up, remember, because the casting is inverted. So these will be, so where's my mold? And it might take a couple times, but like when you take it out of the mold, it's the mirror of it. So in this case, this would be this side up. What we're going to do is we're going to use these now to create our composition. And let's put this guy over here. And these are going to act as masks and placeholders for where we are going to stamp over and then cast. Now, you could do some of this without what am I trying to say? You could do it another way, but the upside to doing it this way is where you have these placeholders are going to inform how you stamp, as opposed to just doing your stamping and then finding ways to fit molds in. This way, it's going to help you, this is going to influence your composition. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, good.
To me, but I already know what you're doing.
So, you do. That's true. So, I'm feeling like we're going to you can see like, okay, we kind of have a, like this, and we're, you know, integrating our bird placement.
It's like a foundation of foliage, and the movement of the design is happening. There's an organic movement.
Yes.
And the birds are working within that.
So let's take this and let's kind of go like this, so that we're leaving these in place, right? Ish. And then this will be our first one. I'm going to forget probably. Now you could take a photograph of that on your phone if you want to like really get it in there, remember. So let's do right here, and we'll leave these down because they're going to, when we stamp over them, they're going to leave openings that give us clues to where we were going to place those, right? So now it would be even better for us to have a mask and mask our stamping. We didn't prepare for that though. So we're just gonna not do that. So I'm feeling like right like in there. Do not shift. Do not shift. Right?
Lift it up. Oh, that's beautiful.
Very nice. Now we had, this was kind of, we had kind of this right here, right? So let's go ahead and right in here. Okay.
We are using our IOD Air Dry Clay and our IOD molds. This is Birdsong.
Oh, I smeared that, guys. Did you see that?
Yeah.
But see there, that's giving us clues as to where we're going to be placing our casting this time.
Our air dry clay is the best clay on the market. It's soft and supple. It's artist grade instead of
that's gonna be good.
Most of the air dry clay that you find on the market is actually hobby or craft grade. This is artist grade, so you can just see it's just really delicious.
It holds a higher level of detail than the crafting grades, which is when you are curating a collection of IOD molds, you want to make sure that you are using the clay that really takes advantage of the level of detail, right?
And make sure when you're using your clay that you put it. I like that
see?
too. That's nice. Put your clay away and put it in a plastic baggie, which I don't have near me, so I'm just going to kind of put it away and turn it over like that. You want to make sure that you have the ink side up, right?
Yes.
That will match with the casting. That's an important thing to note.
Let's just do this right
Okay.
here.
And I am being really sloppy with this mold. I'm kind of just going for it here. Okay. And I'm just going to quickly use my thumb. No, I got it.
Oh, you didn't do cornstarch. That's okay.
I didn't. You're right. I did not do cornstarch. If you want your casting to fall out beautifully and quickly, use a little dusting of cornstarch and then turn it over and dump the cornstarch out before you cast.
And I'm gonna get a little we've got the,
see how the micro rim, guys, it's just clean. It allows you to run your thumb over it and create just this beautiful clean edge there. Just like so. There we go. And I am also running my finger flat over the casting as well to create as much of a flat surface as I can. The reason for that, sure, that'd be great.
Because
the reason for that is that you want the glue to make as much contact with the surface of the back of the mold, to make as much contact with your surface that you're gluing to it as possible.
And because of that microroom, you can get a cleaner edge.
Now I turn it over and I use gravity to kind of help that birdie come out.
Yes.
See?
So now that's gonna go
right there. Oh, that's so pretty. Just like that. And it made room. So it made a beautiful little spot for it. Now you might be asking, and I will ask you, Josie, so you can answer, why not just put it right over the stamp?
Well, like I said, you could do that too, but if you want to be able to have both elements in mind, your casting and your stamping, as you're creating your composition, using these little blanks and placeholders to do that, like we did here, makes a difference. Because had we decided to do it in two separate steps, or not considering the casting while we were stamping, the stamping composition would look different. And I'm sure it would still look beautiful, but you don't have that influence happening while you are deciding where to stamp. Does that make sense? Now, so this is a little technique that we use. You guys tell me, how else, let's talk about, how else could you use the technique of stamping and creating masks with your molds? I have one in my mind, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. Getting that clean edge right there along the micro rim makes it so that you have a cleaner, here we go. There we go. We're gonna glue those down right now.
Somebody said stamp the mold into a rolled out sheet of clay.
There you go. There you go. That'd be a really interesting to play with that. And these are the type of ideas that many times will lead you down a path to new discoveries that we love. So one other way you could do that is you could cut all of these out, and you can, if you want to do multiple layers, you know, you can tape or paper clip them together and then cut out so you have more than one of each of these. And then you can lay out an entire composition of just casting or whatever your molds are to create your composition of however you want to do your casting, if that makes sense.
So I just want to address one comment. Tammy mentioned I would paint the bird before I adhered it to the paper. I think the problem with that would be that you would be then working with a freshly painted mold. You would not want to allow your mold to dry, because then it's going to start to warp. You actually want to glue your molds right onto your surface while they are fresh. What happens is air dry clay, just the very nature and character of air dry clay is that it has some moisture in it, and as it dries, it will naturally have a little bit of warping. So you want to glue it down to the surface while it's wet. And that being said, painting it after it's adhered to the surface would be preferable, just so that you're not getting working with it. But if you want to try that, that actually might be preferable for you.
Yeah, there's always more than one way to do it.
That is true.
Totally. And trying the different ways is how you discover your favorite ways. Totally.
That's awesome, Loretta. She just bought the final mold in our collection.
Ooh, very nice. You are, like I said, curating those your mold collection so that you can create anything.
Also, I wanted to mention, Tammy, it's not paper that we're gluing this to. This is actually wood, not paper. Can you tape it down to a plastic mat while it dried?
I don't know. Try it and you tell us. That, you know, so many times it's like developing these techniques so many times is a community effort. And a lot of times we'll get an email that'll say, can you do this with your products? And we'll say, you try it and you let us know.
Paula, that is a great point. I want to address that as well. So Paula Sheehan said, I did that once, glued while wet, and it shrunk and left gaps. So that is what I'm speaking of, that there is moisture in the air dry clay, and so it will shrink. So even though you have it glued down, it may not warp, but it will shrink. That is okay. What you want to do is allow yourself to go back in after and just touch it up. You can even, if you have cracking, which will also happen with the air dry clay, you can go in with some fresh clay and just work it in with a clay tool or your soft fingers and just fill those cracks and fill those gaps and then allow it to dry again and paint it. Or a lot of times if you're working with a chalk style or mineral based paint, it's nice and thick, so you can even just go in and fill that cracking with just the paint.
Sorry guys, my head hits this. Okay, very nice. And so I am going to, like Sally said, when this dries, you'll get, it's maybe 1 millimeter, possibly 2 margin of shrinkage, and that's okay. In fact, for this technique, you might be better off to glue it down, let it dry, then go back and paint it, because you are going to have a little margin. And that's not a bad thing. It actually ends up, you get this kind of silhouetted look. So I'm going to...
Janet Perez mentioned, and I think this is a fabulous point, she said, I think for the wreath molds, it would be beneficial to use masks on a piece so you maintain the true shape. I always struggle with keeping the true shape. So that's a really good point as a guide to know what shape the mold is in. That is a great purpose as well.
Very true. I'm gonna have you, Sal.
Yes.
I'm gonna take this out and we can hold it, or go get that other.
To go close?
Yeah, so we can get in close so I can show you how we're painting it up close. Put my glasses on. You are just gonna. Now remember, this will be. Okay, that's the glue. This is the paint.
See how much her glue looks like her paint?
Right? I said, this will be dried. You'll have a little bit of gap in here, and you just go in like this. Oh.
Mary Jo says, wow.
Do you love this, guys? Oh, don't you guys love making?
Suzanne does love the close-up shot.
I know, me too. It makes me feel like it's me doing it. Well, I mean, right now it is me doing it. But you know what I mean. Like when I'm watching a thing and I get almost frustrated when I'm like, I really want to see what they're doing. I want to see the texture. I want to see every bit of it up close and be more intimate with the shot.
So you guys can kind of just see what's happening here. Look how beautiful that is, integrating molds with stamps.
What do you guys think of it? What do you think about, and again, this is not the only way to integrate molds with stamps. You can do it lots of different ways. This is one way, and I would say the thing about this technique is mostly that it's helping you with the composition. So you can see it's not hard to paint it then.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and flip around. I think you guys get the gist. This is how you can combine your molds with your stamps. And I'm just going to flip us around really quick to say goodbye. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us for this quick live on integrating your stamping, your masking, and your molds. It was really fun. And I hope you learned something. And if you did, note it in the comments. And we will see you guys soon. Bye.